Hi everybody, I'm Robert Kennedy and welcome to week 4 of our weekly readings of Unbridled, the passion, performance, and politics behind America's favorite pony car. In week 1, we read from chapter 1, Gestation. It was about everything that happened in Ford history preceding the Mustang, bringing them up to the point of building Mustang. Week 2 is chapter 2, which is the first generation Mustang. Week 3 last week was the Mustang 2 chapter for second generation. This week we're up to chapter 4, third generation. We read a fairly lengthy excerpt last week, so I thought we would do the same for the Fox that we had done for the 2s. So without further ado, from 1982. In the wake of Iacocca's firing and Henry II's retirement, Philip Caldwell had taken the Deuce's position as chairman and CEO of Ford Motor Company, and Don Peterson had stepped in to fill Iacocca's shoes as president and COO on March 13, 1980. Peterson, a veteran of the Total Performance era, had worked alongside Don Fry, Joe Oros, Hal Sperlich, and others as part of the team that had guided the original Mustang into production. During the first 3 years of Fox Mustang production, Ford had teased enthusiasts with high-performance dream car prototypes like the Mustang RSX rally car and the wide-body Mustang IMSA. However, while these one-off concepts sold a fantasy, dealers had been left to sell a very different reality. Peterson, being the car guy that he was, recognized the general trend that if one were to exclude new model launch years, Mustang's sales seemed to generally rise and fall in relative proportion to its performance. Recalling Iacocca's belief that Mustang's initial sales decline was due to the growing stallion's increased girth, Peterson saw history repeating itself, but from a different perspective. Mustang's current issues weren't related to its size or weight, but rather its lack of giddy-up. Fuel efficiency may have been able to sell a lot of Escorts, but performance sold Mustangs. Gas mileage be damned, Ford needed to inject some good old-fashioned horsepower into its floundering filly. With hypothetical pros outweighing proven cons, the commitment was made to remedy what was wrong and do right by Mustang. Frankly, even if V8 Mustangs fell a bit short of CAFE standards, continued consumer demand for 4-cylinders was likely to offset those shortages anyway. And if that wasn't enough, sales of the new Escort would easily cancel out any remaining efficiency deficit. Therefore, for 1982, the entire Mustang hierarchy was reworked to echo that of the enormously successful Escort, now the best-selling car in America. Base models were labeled Mustang L. Mid-level Mustangs received GL designation, and buyers in search of the most luxurious mount were directed to the GLX nomenclature rather than the GIA badge of years past. The TRX suspension, Recaro seats, and T-roof all returned, as did the 2.3, 3.3, and 4.2 liter engines, but none of this mattered so much as the return of 2 letters that had been missing from Mustang's model lineup since 1969, GT. To the casual observer, the new 1982 Mustang GT may have appeared to be little more than a relabeling of the 1980-81 Cobra package. Its air dam, fog lamps, grille, and rear spoiler were all sourced directly from the Cobras and their Indy pace car predecessor. The GT's non-functional hood scoop would also appear equally familiar to anyone who remembered the now-defunct turbo models. In fact, aesthetically, just about the only noticeable novelty was the blackout treatment applied to the GT's hood emblem, door handles, dash bezel, and new 4-spoke steering wheel. Initially available with only a limited palette of metallic silver, black, or 2 different red paints, additional colors would eventually follow before the end of the model year. Where the Mustang GT really distinguished itself from the rest of the herd was in its engine bay. Paired to its mandatory S-Rod transmission and kept in check with a set of traction bars out back, GT buyers were treated to a freshly revamped high-output 302. Dubbed the 5-liter HO, and stripped of its traditional blue paint, the hot new power plant packed a marine application camshaft, double row timing chain, more durable valve springs, and larger nylon valve stem oil seals. The whole assembly breathed through improved cylinder heads and an aluminum intake positioned below a slightly larger 356 CFM 2-barrel carburetor and a dual snorkel air cleaner assembly. The net effect was 157 horsepower, 240 pound-feet. Although peak torque remained 10 pound-feet lower than what had been seen in its Mustang II predecessor, this represented a 42 horsepower increase over the 4.2-liter V8, also available in Mustang GT for a $57 credit, and the highest horsepower available in any regular series production Mustang since the last 351 powered model rolled out of DAP in 1973. That was the beginning of a horsepower climb that continues to this day with the new GT and the Dark Horse, and of course the GTD coming along the way for those privileged few. So tune in next week for an excerpt from Chapter 5 on the 4th gen, the SN95 and New Edge Mustangs. If you've not checked out the website, which of course is going to be pretty quickly posted on the website, but if you're just watching it on YouTube, please go to unbridledmustangbook.com. We do have a promo code and free shipping running through the end of the calendar year. So if you'd like to save money on the shipping, and which is automatic, and then also with the promo code 1964 to save $19.64 off the cover price, order before January 1st. It's not the cheapest book, but it's also big. And a lot of the cost was because we insisted on making it here in America. I'm a patriotic guy, and it's Mustang. So I hope that you'll support it. I think that you'll find it's a wonderful book if you do take the opportunity. And hopefully I'll see you on the road at some car shows this summer. Thanks a lot.